The views and the opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities of LFTP Productions.
Oh, charm guy.
Hey, when this song comes on, I just really want to do the little dance. Is you hardly working charm guy? I don't know what it is. Who's gonna be more consistent? Hey, I'm dropping podcasts like mixtapes. I don't stop. I got content all the time. I'm just like, I need to give myself a name like the King Kong of consciousness, like Dr. Umar. Make it arrogant. I'm gonna be arrogant, bro. Hey man, y'all are tuned. Make it arrogant.
Make it arrogant,
man, y'all
bro.
tuned in to the livest, dopest, most consistent, packed with all kind of controversial, uncomfortable conversations. Y'all tuned in to the Charm Hour. I'm boy Jew, the Charm Guy, and we here for another fire episode. Hey man, to my right I got Grizzly Adams.
1 2 1 2
in the building. Yeah,
big
clap,
Grizz on the track.
to my left, I got my co-captain, co-pilot, Miss T. Yeah, that's relation. That's my first cousin right there. I'll let y'all know that.
First cousin, boy, that's history right there.
That's different right there.
Yeah, they're like brothers and sisters.
Hey,
What's up?
and all the way down to my left, man. Y'all know I got the Southside philosopher himself.
You know, man, it's just, it's a quotidian display of excellence, in the flesh. A king and a relentless scholar, possessor of immense wisdom, with a mind that knows
He
no
got
limits.
arrogant.
You know what I'm
Brody
saying?
took a hit of that
His
yak.
friendship
It's
is
different.
immeasurable, you know what I'm saying? He don't participate in failures, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Child of the
yeah.
Most High. Make men arrogant again.
Oh,
We
come
like
on,
to
dog.
Make men arrogant again, man. Man, brothers just slipped in that humility, and then we feeling like we gotta fix something. It ain't nothing to fix, man. Only thing to fix is your vision, man. Brothers gotta see that shine again, man. I like that arrogant intro, man. Make it even more arrogant next
Yeah,
week.
man. Hey,
Yeah.
clap it up, clap it
Yeah,
up, clap
straight
it up.
up.
clap
1
it
2
up,
1
clap it
2
up. Hey man, shout out to Sunny the rapper. She's blowing up. She's doing good. She did that feature on that song Me Motion. That's a real dope song. You know what I'm saying? Hey, go get my music. I'm gonna put a link in the bio. The description. Y'all go cop that boy Drew, man. I'm still streaming, still getting me. I get some checks off of DistroKid. I be getting some money.
That's what's up.
That's dope. I get some money. I got like over 1 million streams of my music, man. I never talk about that, but
Had
it's
to
dope.
beat you outside. If you
that's
got a
right.
bad,
Seven
you
figure.
done told on himself. Hey, this might be something different after this shit.
Hey,
He done told on himself.
Hey, yeah, I know y'all ain't allowed to talk about how much money. I know the rules. I know the
on.
rules. Y'all not supposed to
I'm
mention
in
that.
for
for
Rock. Hey man, Courtney whooped my ass, man. I don't even know what happened. We've been talking politics since
Y'all not
time.
supposed to, hey, bro, if I was in a situation like that, bro, I cut grass. I DJ.
You know, music can beget violence.
Yeah.
Music can beget violence, and that's gonna take us into something hot. 50 Cent, Irv Gotti. First off, listen. R.I.P. to Irv Gotti.
Legend. R.I.P.
Regardless
Yeah.
to what you feel about Irv Gotti and his brother, that whole movement, Murder Inc. movement, monumental in the game, monumental in music. So we want to first say R.I.P. to Irv Gotti and condolences to the family.
To the fam.
And,
for
hey,
real.
and let's really highlight the fact that he is a legend. You know,
He is a
sometimes
legend.
because of certain things to be, we don't put that legend light on. This man discovered DMX,
Yeah,
or at least was
yeah.
the first to believe in him and put him through, stuff he did with DNY as a producer. Like, he is a legend,
Made Jay turn that corner from the Hard Knock Life. He made Jay turn that corner. He told you how Jay on that second album he sold 1 million records, but he wasn't popping as much as Reasonable Doubt had him popping. He told Jay, "Hey, go this direction. Go mess with Swiss. Get these." He ran down the timeline and showed how Jay went to the next level. So on top of everything he did with Murder Inc., Jive, Shanti, everybody after that, bro was a legend. You feel me?
When someone passes away, do we have to be dickheads? Like, I just think that was a little, there was no coof in 50 Cent for even saying the egregious things that he said about Irv Gotti. You know, allegedly 50 Cent talks about all the time how Irv is a part of him, possibly getting off or whatever the case may be. And we know that 50 Cent, when he beefs, he beef hard. But I did find, first off, I found two things egregious. I didn't like the Irv Gotti thing. I thought that was just distasteful. and Big Meech. I mean, you made a movie, you made a series about Big Meech, and now Big Meech ain't good enough because he took a picture with Rick Ross.
Man, that was the first time I seen, because I consider 50 probably the best practitioner of like the 48 laws and the art of war of anybody probably that's ever existed in the culture. That's the first step I ever seen 50 make where I was like, man, that might have been, that's like, why? Like, why do you have to smoke on an Irv Gotti pack? He's dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing else to gain. It's not even like, at least with the Chirac thing, we're still at war. You know what I'm saying? Inciting something in you. Like, I don't understand that move from 50. But the Meech one, man, there's a lot of times where I've had like a fallout with somebody, and then I started looking at what did I not miss? And I mean, what did I miss?
Yeah,
and then when I start looking at what I missed, I see things that, okay, well, that. Maybe 50 policy is, I'm not going to wait. Because let's say he didn't trip, right? And then 3-4 years down the road, Meech, juked him out of something. He would probably look back to that Rick Ross photo and be like, man, I remember when he got out of jail, man, he was taking pictures with Ross. And that would probably, so maybe he just acts quick, kind of.
I think I'm gonna say this about the Big Meech is not like Young Buck, right? Big Meech was a boss before 50 Cent probably jumped off the porch, so you can't little boy him and be like, man, you got to be loyal to him. Bro been a boss. Bro had more money at the top of his game than you had, and you was a 10 million selling dude. Bro was a boss. You can't tell bro nothing. You can't tell him what to do.
That was the past.
Nah. Hear me out though, because he's able to stand next to Rick Ross because of his name though. See, if your name good, then your name good. So if people's like, well, he put money in his pocket, you got to understand, bro. At no point was that man not going to be able to get money because his name brings so many bells. So he took a picture with you. I'm not, bro, look, bro. I've survived a lot of stuff in life. I'm not taking on your beef, bro. I'm not, like, we're not doing that, bro. We're not that in tune for me to be taking on a beef with you, which in my point, him and Ross don't have no real beef. Beef to me is when I put gas in my car, crank up my car, and I come look for you. That's beef to me. Us having words, that's not beef. If I didn't dispel no resources to come see you, that's not really beef. But I'm going to say this, though. I just don't think you can loot boy Big Me. The bro name too big. But second, the Irv shit, bro, come on. Bro, you didn't kill Irv. When these youngsters do it, at least they killed the person that died, or they had something to do with it, or it was a live beef. Plus, Irv was a DJ and a producer. Irv was in the streets. We know Preem. We know Irv was tied to Preem them, and that's cool. I get it. But, like, come on, bro. You 50. Like, let that shit go. You ain't got to let it go. Because it's ironically, I said that, and then I posted about it. And 50 stuff is not, that's not what I took offense to. I took offense to the regular people in the regular world talking about, yeah, that's what beef is, and that's beef. I'm like, dog. People on my Facebook posts, I'm like, dog, man, you're not built for your loved one dying and the nigga getting online making fun of it, dog. Y'all, you not built like that, dog. I done lost somebody and somebody that had something to do with it. I had their Instagram and they wasn't jammed up, and I'm checking their Instagram, inboxing them, trying to see how I can get to them, and praying they say something like that so I can put the battery in my back to go extra hard. You know, this is what I feel about black people not respecting each other. And we talk about racism all the time, but you got grown people with jobs, 9-to-5 jobs, ain't in no streets, ain't did nothing that takes talking about that's beef. Like, bro, knock it off, bro. Knock it off. Like, come on, bro.
Well, we wouldn't be a controversial show if we wasn't starting out with some controversy. Mm-hmm. I despise black culture. I despise black culture, and the family is in shambles. And the reason why I say I despise black culture is because of this. Yeah. Is when you look at, I've said this, we love debauchery. Mm-hmm. We consume debauchery. We don't have much media like this where we're talking politics or where we're having these various conversations. We just consume it to this, like, we need it like powder, cocaine. Like, we have to have it all the time. And I think this is due to the fact that our families are in shambles. We have terrible divorce rate out the roof. And I'm pretty sure if you have the national rate of divorce is high, but I'm pretty sure for black people it's even much higher.
I don't know, though, man. Divorce rate so high, I wouldn't. I'm gonna look that up.
Well, it's hard to tell. But if you look on the flip and you just look at the single parent households for black people, it's high. So it's over
So
50%.
we married at the lowest level.
Yeah, so we married at the lowest level. So that's what I'm saying. So it has to be high. So we may not even be getting married at all. We just baby mama, baby daddy. But I think this is an issue because I saw the same thing. It's like the 50 Cent Big Meat. I told you about this, Miss T. I said I can't stand this Big Meat shit. Like we want to have parties for Big Meats. We got a global crisis in information for black people politically, and we happy about Big Meats. You got niggas that ain't never sold a gram of anything. Ain't never sold a gram of nothing. Don't even know what a deal would even can't. Only seen it on TV.
That's American though. We just love American is we love an outlaw. Like if John Gotti got out of jail, people would have been happy that Gotti got out. So I don't think that's distinct just to us. Like because Big Meats he represents. We've always liked the badass.
He's smart. He gave a smart comeback.
So it represents some form of success.
Smart
you
guy.
feel me?
Right.
It does. I get it, and I get it. I think what you're saying about the black. I just think black people love mess, bro. We just love mess. Like you say, we love what you call it, debauchery.
Yeah. Right.
Like we just love for somebody to be getting into it and be in the audience and watching it. We love to see somebody will watch this and it'd be cool. But if I said something disrespectful to you and then you in return expose something to my background that nobody know, they love to see that.
Right.
That's just where we at with it. That's why you have regular people always willing to add fuel to a fire to something. You be like, bro, shit. At some point, we on here arguing about racism every day, dog, which sometimes we overdo it. A lot of times we overdo it. Right. And then here we is with black people trying to tell you, trying to convince why black people should respect each other. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't
Hey,
know.
well, I do think though, if 50 had a wife at home, I don't think he would have posted that. You know, it's something about a wife that like, cause I was talking to Ronnie about this. I'm like, man, why my married partner's getting less trouble? He said, man, that wife keep you out of bullshit. That's how he explained it to me. He said, man, a wife just, it's not that, you know what I'm saying, like, she's like, you know, monitoring or nothing, but when you got a wife, you know that, like, I got to go home tonight. You know, it just makes you, it puts a limitation on how far your BS can go.
That's what marriage is and relationships is. Ain't nothing but a 24-hour mirror. Like, you do something, somebody going to be like, you wrong.
Yeah.
If Rob J at home by himself and he do something stupid, he post something stupid, who going to check you? If Rob J next to Sarah J and she say, hey, bro, what you doing?
Janelle Monáe was really the
Janelle
one.
She didn't fell out. But
she didn't fell out before the past two. I was gonna marry Janelle before this last album, but
ain't she like a pansexual?
I don't know.
I don't know. She didn't kind of went left.
She's everything.
So now it's this other. I might marry this woman. Her name Brittany Love. She be roller skating and dancing. I might marry her.
It's something real romantic about that skating. I'm gonna learn how to skate.
I ain't never met her before. She in California, but I'm on my Rico Reckless. Rico Reckless just claimed summer. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Rico Reckless. I think I'm gonna go get Brittany. I'm gonna go to California. She got the cold. She got this cold. Bing bam, bing bam, bam. With the roller skates, it was so cold. I think I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna marry her, man.
What do you think about that? Do you think a wife has a vital role in a man's protection as far as intuition? Like saying, no, you shouldn't do that. You need to. Before you answer that, I've always said this about women. I'd rather have a woman on my side going, even in dangerous situations, this may sound wild, than a man, because I think women are naturally, because they're self-service to themselves, they're going anything that's of their interest, their spidey senses are just on a higher alert. So I think even that woman knowing, hey, this is somebody who go to work, bring a check home, take care of the family. I don't want you in no bullshit. I want you here. You know, I think that's a vital role that they were created for. And like the Bible says, a man that findeth the wife findeth a good thing. Actually. So what do you think about that? And get towards the mic so we can hear you.
Let's go, Miss T.
Hey guys, it's Miss T again. No, let me go ahead.
I think you're right, but I think that it takes the right wife. It's just not just being married. It's the right wife to have that's going to help navigate and guide you through those situations or whatever the situation may be. You have to have a wife that knows how to critically think. You have to have a wife that knows logical reasoning. You have to have a wife that has your best interest in mind first and foremost, not just someone that's just, I want you to do this because I said you should be doing this. It has to benefit the whole, not just by her because she's the one that's executing the information.
I ain't never got no beef when I had a serious girlfriend. I ain't never got no beef when I had a really good woman in my life.
Damn, I'm trying to think.
And then when I had a real, I probably had like 2 to 3 moments, like just in like day where I was with a woman where we were like aligned, like walking, I mean, as close to righteousness we could be walking as sinners fornicating, but but when in them situations, that woman wasn't just looking out for her self-interest. That woman knew me so well that she was able to see things I couldn't see about she was looking out for me not being treated correctly. If somebody was playing with me, she would point that out. No, it's so-and-so.
Women
like,
good at that.
Yeah, she had like
women
a six.
good at
She
that.
had a sixth
Black
sense.
women.
Man, this woman had a sixth sense for me, somebody playing with me, like me not getting my respect, with me not handling right, and she would be like offended, like I was really excited because at that time I was doing some business with good music, and I'm just excited because it's Kanye, and she like, who it is? No, you did, you know what I'm saying? Like she was like really, so yeah, I do think women.
I think black women do got a thing where they will get offended if somebody, your woman. You go to black woman and she thinks somebody trying to get over on you, she gonna take that shit
hey, they geniuses at that.
Personally, bro, and she gonna ready to fight, run the fade for you, and you be like, hey, you gotta chill now. We gotta, I get it, but they really good at that shit.
Hey, that's a green flag. When you gotta tell her you gotta chill because she riding for you.
Yeah, that's a green flag for sure.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, so you said you and her were aligned, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why didn't it work? Are y'all still together?
No, this was probably 10
Oh
years
shit,
ago.
nigga, we about
But
to
no, I
about to get into some shit.
The reason it probably didn't work was like one, she had some anger issues where, now I come from a family where we talk crazy to each other, but we talk crazy to each other and we wake up the next day and it's all good. She, from her kind of upbringing, one time I was at her house, we were looking stuff. I said, because my whole life is documented. Like I'm Prince William. I can tell you every year of my life, you just go to my mom's library. I said, let me see some of your baby pictures. She didn't have a picture of her before she was like 8 years old. So when we would have conflict, it would be like it'd be like a long process of resolving. I'm from the Squash Plex area. Hey, so that kind of got to us. And, it got to a point where we were having some issues and I told her, stop hanging up on me. She would get mad and hang up. And I said, you hang up again, it's over with. And you know what I'm saying? She hung up again. So
I'm just going down a rabbit hole.
yeah.
So was she like, what was her family like?
Well, she had grew up in a situation where her mom was at least I don't know if it's physical, but definitely was abusive. Hard on her with the words. I never really seen like me and my mom. Even me and my mom could be at war. It ain't gonna never be no F you. Sometimes when women tell me their mom didn't call them a B, call them a that, it's like so kind of one of those situations.
Factuals.
Beautiful woman though, a teacher as well, master. I mean, I probably still should have married her. I mean, this one was amazing. One day I was selling cable, and I was the worst salesperson every week. I'm like, out of the 25 people in the office, you can book it. I'm somewhere between 21st and 25th, right? Mm-hmm. She come and visit me for the summer because I moved from Oakland. She said, where you? I said, I'm about to go to work. You know what I'm about to go do? She said, I want to come. I said, shut up, man. She said, I want to. I said, leave me alone. She said, I want to come. I took my Comcast shirt and I threw it at her. I said, come then. She put the shirt on, right? And she walked with me all day while I knocked on the door. Well, check this out. I went from 21st to the office manager. I went from, like, it changed my whole situation. It was like magical, the way, to have somebody to know someone was really riding like that. So there was a lot of great things. It was just tragic that, mental health issues, different challenges, it was hard. Maybe if I was a little more mature, I could have loved her through that. But at that age, I probably wasn't.
Where was her father?
Hey, you tell me.
And that brings my next
He was
point.
Come on, Miss T.
That brings my next point. Because, now mind you, I think it's a good thing that y'all got along. The alignment, and y'all were dating.
Yeah.
Y'all were in a relationship.
Yeah. We was headed that way. I'm in Hollywood Floss at the lead skate park. I'm a proposal.
So do you think that you would have been able to lead her in a marriage? And I'm saying that because just based off of the example that you gave when you said, hey, if you hang up on me one more time, that's gonna be it.
Yeah.
So
well, it was a lot of hangups after I warned her. I had to grow. I had to grow in my resolve till finally, I stood on my square because I was like, you know, I'm a forgiving person. So, hey, I don't really like when you hang up. Hey, me and my family, we'll argue all night, but don't hang up. Hey, hanging up is disrespect. So when she finally did hang up, and my heart had grown strong enough to stand in my word, when she started calling back, and I didn't have the quick forgiveness, then she called and said, what's going on? I said, hey, man, you know, I told you what it was. Then that's when the breakdown on her happened, because it became real. I think my word, you know, had too many, you know, exceptions before then, you know.
So this is my last question. So do you think that women that are not in a two-parent household where they see a healthy relationship between a man and a woman, do you think she can be led by a man?
Wow, that's a great question.
And I'm asking because I can speak from experience. So that's what I'm asking.
I'll say this.
And I'm not trying to put you on the
No,
spot.
no, that's a great question.
I told you we were going down a rabbit hole.
I tell you one of the, you know, my grandfather, I consider my grandfather probably the closest thing to, you know, someone out the Bible, just most righteous man I ever met. The greatest accomplishment of my grandfather, I think, is that his daughters won't participate in a man bashing conversation. You can't get one of my aunts to even engage. You know, men ain't sure because they seen a man. So you can't even, they can't even buy into narratives about a man not being something because they've seen manhood at the highest level. Yeah. So I do think, like, you know, when a woman grows up and she sees it, especially when she sees it done right, then she grows up with a different reverence for man, because she's seen a man be a rock. She's seen a man deliver. She's seen what the representation of a man in his most righteous form is. When a woman doesn't have that, a lot of times their view of man or manhood is almost imaginary. It's almost a fictional character. It's like a fantasy type of thing. And then I will say, the woman who grows up with that man in the house, normally that woman has better advisors in her life. She has a sister who grew up with a man in her life. She has others. And what I found is women who have great advisors in their life, it's not that they don't make bad decisions, things like that. It's that they don't have people in their life that throw gas on bad decisions. They have people in their life that pat out the bad decision. So like a woman who come from like that, right? That woman might be plexing with her man or whatever. No, when I'm out of here, and she go to her sister's house. Yeah, me and Rob been having these problems. I'm gonna just stay here tonight. Oh no, you're not. Oh no, you're not. You better go back. But what I found with the women who don't come from that foundation, when it's problems, they friends throw gas on it. Oh, free trip, girl. Let's go out tonight, girl. Forget about him. That's two totally different types of situations. That's why, like, a woman with bad advice will kill a marriage. Bad advisors will kill a relationship. That's why, to me, when women talk about high value, like when people talk about what's a high value woman, and I really don't feel like there is such thing as a high value woman. But a woman forced me to answer that one day. I said, I think a high value woman would be a woman where not only did I marry and get a wife, but I got a wife, I got a second mother, I got a father who loves her just as much as I do, and then I got a collection of brothers and sisters who provided her with wise counsel, provided us with a tribe. And you don't get that with most women. You just get, you know, a lone ranger, and it's hard for one Navy SEAL to take down a battalion of Green Berets, you know. So it's like,
I'll talk to this nigga for 2 hours on the phone, and he talk like that.
That nigga, hey, he a wild boy, man.
He be dropping some shit. First off, let me say, all that shit was good, and that's all good stuff for here, because you are absolutely correct. I actually think that no, a woman that doesn't have that can't be led.
Absolutely.
And when we talk about the black community, most of us are marrying that.
Absolutely.
And that's unfortunate. I don't, you know, anybody that knows me and follows my show and anything I do, I've been very personal. So I talk about everything that I go through, and I don't want to bash anybody that's personally attached to me. You know, I'm divorced. I was married over 20 years. The difference, I think, between me and my ex-spouse is that even though I had some dysfunction, I grew up in a 2-parent household.
yeah,
I come from patriarchy. Men that were taking care of women, men that were working, and there was just a hierarchy. When you try to blend that with someone that doesn't have it, you almost instantaneously have chaos. It's just something you can't get past. And this is why I say that you gotta have God, because if you don't have God to give you that cultural install, it's gonna fail. I talk a lot about on this show about cultural install, especially with black people. And I think when it comes to marriage, that's why I say we just don't have it. Because most people have grown up in single parent households. And so even having this conversation, you know, when we podcast and we talk, this is healing, and it's, especially for me, it's like therapy. It's a tough thing to come to terms with, but it is true. I just feel like if you don't have the God factor, if you're dealing with a woman who doesn't have that cultural install, it's impossible to have a marriage with her.
Wow.
And let me,
Possible. Wow.
I'm
I'm not disagreeing.
without God. Without God.
let me tell you what me and him, one thing we always discuss about being raised with a man in the house, even for the man on the other side, a lot of times when we have discussions about things that transpire between men and women on the internet, and you'll hear a dude jump in, and instead of him being honest or him being righteous in the situation, he'll just kind of take the woman's side, and you be like, hey, you don't want to say it, because I'm a respectful dude. I'm like, hey, you as a man can't afford to say that or be that way or sound like that, bro. And I always attested to him not growing up in the house with a man as a lead. You feel me? A lot of these dudes grew up and the woman was the leader. She was the head of the household. Me personally, I grew up with a very strong mother. My mother was the head of the household, though. She ran that. You got out of line, she'd slap you in the back of the head. My daddy walked through the door after work, whatever bro say, go, at the end of the day. Yeah. Whatever so when you don't grow up around and you don't see that, that's why you have so much combative, you know what I'm saying, back and forth with it. She don't understand. You chose me as your man. I chose you as my woman. Let me play that. Let me be what I am. You feel me? I am the head of this. Because if it fall, it's on me. If it fall down, they going to say, well, if your wife call her mama, her daddy, her sister, her cousin for some money, they going to say, where your husband at? And if they don't tell you that, they're going to tell the person that when y'all hang up off the phone. Mm-hmm. So you as the man, me growing up seeing my mama be stiff, a strong woman to this day. My mom and my daddy was together my entire life until my daddy died 5-6 years ago. And my mama still to this day, strong woman, Christian woman, she's not perfect. But when my daddy walked through the door, we knew my daddy ran that shit. And my mama knew my daddy ran that shit. But my daddy also knew my mama was a strong woman, and he respected that shit. Mm-hmm. And that shit was not perfect by far. We had plenty of issues, but when that hierarchy comes to play, it's not even a debate. And like you said, when you talking to or try to be with a woman that don't never seen that, the man too though, because that's why we get into these. That's why you got so many of these dudes on the internet willingly sometimes and unknowingly misguiding these women with these simp ass conversations, because they're men. They grew up with single women. Mm-hmm. They think whatever the woman feel, that's what should go on in the household. Yep. They feel like, oh, she feel that way, that's how it should go. No, bro. That's not how it goes.
Right.
That's not.
You said something key, and you're a woman that came up in a 2-parent household, so you can probably get in on this as well. Being safe amongst wise counsel, says that in the Bible. Being safe amongst wise counsel. I think there are a lot of women and men that don't have wise counsel. Yeah. And so when you talk about throwing gasoline, when you want to make a bad decision or something based off of, poor judgment or how you feel, and you don't have any wise counsel or any type of group that can say you shouldn't do that, or that's family oriented. If your mama's bitter and she got cheated on, or she feels a certain way, and she's put that cultural install in you, girl, you better get out here and get your degree. And he got to have a JLB if he want to give me all this bullshit, this debauchery ass culture shit we put on people. Mm-hmm. How is that ever going? How do we help the future generations? How are we going to have better families if we're just giving this constant bitter information or these organizations of just family? It'd be men too. Just, we have, what we always tell people? Break up.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I don't want to.
Go ahead.
Without putting, I don't want to, put all family business out there because they share this in confidence. But, one of the things that my mother, has openly told me was it was, my parents' divorce wasn't from like abuse, infidelity, and things like that. It was just, overall just not getting along, having a rough patch. My mother said it was the advice of her cousins, that was, and my mother comes from a situation where father wasn't there in the household, really. And from her era of the family, there are no successful marriages. Now my generation, my cousins happily married, but in her age, there were no cousins.
Your cousin got some white women, though, right?
No, that's on my
I
dad's
was playing.
side.
I was
On my
playing.
dad-
I
no,
was
on my
being
dad's
funny.
side. No, on my Hey, on my dad's side, that's all. Hey, my cousins. Hey, my generation, that white woman be good in my generation. I got a lot of white sisters-in-law. You know what I'm saying? All my sisters-in-law is white. Shout out to Katie. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Katie. I love Katie. But, hey, what Katie out there with?
Caitlin.
That's my cousin Jay White.
Nah,
But
go ahead.
anyway,
I'm being funny.
No, but like, so my mom, she says it was the bad advice. And then she said not only was it bad advice, but the very people that gave her bad advice, when they were in similar situations, did the opposite. And that's the dysfunction amongst women and, you know, the echo chamber and advice at times that ultimately caused, you know, it didn't just hurt my mother and my father. I always say a divorce affects 3 marriages because it affects their marriage. It affects my marriage, right? Because them divorcing changed the pretty much, you know, DNA, how I would have looked at things, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, so now, which ultimately may even impact, if I don't change it, you know, it'll impact my kids. So it's an infinite amount of people that were affected by bad counsel. So I do think that's a really serious issue.
And to piggyback, counsel is important because I'm a firm believer of alignment. So if I used to be married, I'm not married anymore, but let's say I was still married and I had an issue, I'm not going to go to my single friends. I'm going to go to a married couple that has longevity that could give me guidance and wisdom on that situation.
That's wise.
I'm not going to be married and then talk to my single homegirl. I'm just saying, I'm going far-fetched, who got 3 kids, 3 baby daddies, and you've never been married, have no concept of what a marriage is. I'm not getting my advice from you because when I do that, that's fulfilling my emotion.
That's a great point.
And there needs to be, I mean, in a marriage, you do have to have some level of emotion, but that's not where I'm going to get my counsel from because you haven't even been through anything to even help me in my particular situation. And then another thing too, when you talked about degrees, my mom and dad are still married. I'm 44, about to be 45 in August.
I can't tell.
And I guess that's what my students say. And I've seen my mom give a level of servitude to my father, and I've seen my father be a man even to this day. And one of the things that she told me was that I never took out of context was she said, just make sure that you are educated, you do have a education, you do have a good job. In case something goes wrong, you can take care of yourself. But she never told me that in such a way to where I don't need a man.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so many women that have that concept, oh, I don't need a man, I don't need a man. I mean, yeah, you really do. I don't think God would have made one if you didn't need one.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna take us out of here with this for all the married people, because you kind of said something that made me think of this, and I just want to say this overall, because we talk about maturity. I think as men, what we have to understand is the marriage is above it all. Women and men have to understand that the commitment that you make with God is above how you feel, and you need wise counsel from people that have 20, 30 plus years of marriage. It's going to get hard. You may not feel like you're in love the way you were when you were just on your honeymoon stage. But when you get married, your commitment is forever, and it needs to be a godly marriage. And if you don't have it, marriage is the institution created by the Creator. It's the first institution on earth. And if you are not applying those principles, you're surely going to fail. And God, I wouldn't consider this a religious podcast, but I do believe in God. I'm going to say, that is going to take you through the bad times. That's going to get you through anytime you got going on in your marriage. You need to pray. I mean, simply put, we get married to stay together until we die. So this has been a great episode. Actually, it's been something that I want to revisit, and I'm going to find a way for us to do that. Again, I bored you, the Charm God. This is the Charm Hour. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Throw 50K. Y'all already know why y'all throwing 50K in the chat, man. We got the 50,000 subscriber movement going on at the channel because we're going to get 50,000 subscribers this year. Love y'all. Peace.